Episode 6, my insane marriage story. Cracks are starting to show. Takis has just told me his whole story, and now I have to tell my Filipino mother. After Takis had finished his whole soliloquy and saga of his life, I was coming to a realization very quickly that I did not know enough about this man that I had only known for a month and got swept away in all the celebrity private jets and exotic dance club tomfoolery to not realize that now I was basically responsible for this whole ass human that had fled his country because of trying to get away from a Greek gangster, and now I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. Yes, I was working. I was working as a model, which I had been doing for a while then. However, as many of you in the industry know, the work is inconsistent. So it was fine getting by to take care of myself, but having to do a 2-person household on that salary was a little bit more difficult and not something that I had budgeted into my lifestyle. Immediately, I'm like, okay, you need to be able to work, so we need to file the paperwork, you need to get your green card, we need to get all this paperwork done so that way you can be a citizen and then you can get on with your life and we can figure out what we're gonna do. And he was like, absolutely, I'm going to get a job as soon as I can, we're gonna figure it out, like we're in this together. I'm like, sure we are. So because this man is from Greece and English is his second language, yes, he obviously speaks English, but he is not so versed on the laws of America. So we're looking on the website for the US government and we're looking at how we can file now that we're married, how he can get a job visa and all this stuff. And he's realizing that he has no idea what the hell is going on this website because things are done very differently in Greece. And I realize that I'm going to have to take the reins on this. So I start studying, you guys, like day and night, basically becoming qualified to be an immigration lawyer because we couldn't afford to get an immigration lawyer. So I'm over there doing all the research, doing all the paperwork and figuring out all the steps that we need to do so that this man can work and I'm not responsible for funding our entire lifestyle. I had also kind of not really planned to tell my family because I knew that they were not going to be pleased, especially my Filipino mother. But then cards aligned and I ended up having to tell her just because out of sheer force because of the green card paperwork. So basically one of the things is when you're filing for a green card, the American government wants to know that whoever the immigrant is, that they can be supported in this horrible economy by whoever they are marrying. So because they know that the immigrant can't work, they want to make sure that the American that they're marrying can fund the lifestyle and take care of them. So you need to be making a certain amount of money in order to apply for the green card with that person. And if you don't have enough salary, then you will have to get someone to sponsor you. Now, I was making enough money. However, because I'm an independent contractor as a model, I was not getting a consistent salary. So we initially filed the paperwork and the government was like, sorry, girlfriend, but we need someone that has a consistent paycheck of a certain amount every single month. You're going to have to find someone that's going to sponsor. Basically, someone that is going to be responsible for the immigrant that you married when you were a young 20-something-year-old in love and married someone after a month. Now, who is going to be crazy enough to do that for me, huh? Well, the only person I have is my mother. I was like, well, I guess I'm forced to not only tell her, but also ask her to sponsor this man that I just married. While this is going on, I'm still working. I'm going on shoots every day. I'm going to castings, and Takis is at home just twiddling his fucking thumbs, is what I thought. He was trying to do some work on some of the green card stuff and also just kind of like tidying the house, I don't even know. And come to find out that I end up getting home from work one day and I get a angry voicemail from my landlord, and she's like, why is it that I hear that there's loud music playing, cigarette smoke, bottles of beer found outside of your driveway and outside of your little bungalow every single day the past week? I'm like, what is she talking about? So I come back late from doing like an entire spring collection for some fast fashion brand. So I'm like exhausted. I come home and I hear Greek ass music playing super loud out of my bungalow. And I'm like, okay, so the woman is not crazy, aka my landlord. So obviously something is going on. I go in there and Takis is in there with a bunch of his Greek friends, including Yorgos, our little messenger Yorgos, and they're smoking, playing cards, drinking beer, and throwing bottle caps into a trash bin. And I'm like, hi, what is going on here? Oh, baby, hello, gabi mo. You know everyone here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I do know everyone, but are you guys using my Audrey Hepburn painting as a corkboard? Like, what's going on here? So I pull him aside. I'm like, hey, you can't have these people here all the time. My landlord's complaining. And he's like, don't worry about it. Like, we're not being loud. I'll just make sure that we turn the music down. I'm like, okay, no, this is not cool. I need you to not be doing this every day while I'm at work. I need you to make sure that guys keep it down. If you're gonna have people over here, it needs to be more chill. I need you to be a contributing member to society, you know? And he's just like, yeah, don't worry, right? I'm realizing quickly this is not the Greek Prince Charming that I had signed up for. Now, still, he was being very sweet and romantic, but he was very, very quickly encroaching on my lifestyle that I was not expecting to have, and I was suddenly having some deep regrets. But I realized that now, because of a deadline with our paperwork and him getting a green card so that he can get the hell off my couch and get a job, I need to talk to my mother. I call my mommy and I lay it on thick. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, I fell in love. I'm in love with this Greek man. He's so sweet. He's so romantic. I'm telling her all about him, just really bigging him up, being like, he just really loves his family. He comes from a great background. I'm basically just lying to this woman who birthed me. Like, what is wrong with me? And she's like, oh my God, well, you know, make sure that you take it slow because you're young and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, also, we got married. He was going to have to leave and we want to be together anyways. And so we just thought that it would be a great idea. I have done some quite deplorable, despicable, and heinous things as the child of my mother. And this was definitely one of the biggest betrayals that I've ever done to her because the woman was screaming down the phone. She was like, you did what? I'm like, you know, it just kind of happened and I don't regret it because, you know, he's a really great man and you'll meet him and you'll love him. And she's like, I cannot believe that you did this without telling me. All the crazy things that you've done, like me getting tattoos, me piercing my own tongue when I was in high school. These are all stories for other days. She was pretty aghast and disgusted with me on that. In that same conversation, I said to her, yeah, and actually, you know, I do need your help because you, mother, as an immigrant, I know that you know the struggles. This man also needs your help. Can you sponsor him? Which means basically, can you vouch for this man if he is staying in the country because you will make sure that you can take care of him if he can't find a job. And my mother said no. And by no, I mean she said hail to the no, not on God's green earth, which as we know, she really loves God. I basically must now devise a plan to convince my mother to do this. Otherwise, he is going to get fucking banished to God knows where. Takis and I are eating pasta in my living room, chatting away about what we're gonna do. And I hear a loud ass banging on my door. I walk over, open the door, and nobody's there. I'm like, that's weird. I turn and I see that there is a red piece of paper, murder red, on the door. I'm like, what the hell? I look at the paper. It says eviction notice. Yes, things just keep getting better and better for little old me. Now I've got an eviction notice that says that it is because of the excessive loud noise, the cigarette smoke, and the trash littering, and the undocumented occupant that is now staying at my place. So apparently some people were complaining about this man here, his friends, and were making note that he did not live at my place, which he was now living at and was unaccounted for. So now I need to leave my place. I'm not making enough money to support the two of us. I'm not on good terms with my mother because she's pissed at me that I have made some poor life choices. And I think my life is falling apart all at the age of like 21. So what do we do, y'all? We got to call in the big guns. So I tagged in Exhibit A, my older brother. Now, my older brother, I love him deeply. He is 8 years older than me and we are very, very close. And he is the golden child, my mother's favorite, and can do no wrong in her eyes. I knew that if I told him to convince her that he could probably talk her into it. But I also had to talk him into not disowning me as a sibling because of my poor life choices. So I call him up and he was like just waiting for me to call him. Like he already knew. My mom had already told him, obviously. And he's like, oh, there she is, the newly betrothed. And I was like, oh, hello, Bobo Head. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard. And he's like, uh-huh. And he's like, of all the stupid things that you've done, and you have done many, this takes the cake. Thought you were never getting married. And I was like, yeah, well, I guess things change. And he's like, you're way too young to be doing this shit. I'm like, I know. And I was like, look, here's the deal. I need you to convince mom of this. Otherwise, I'm going to have a bigger problem with this man on my hands. And I am basically supporting the two of us right now. So I need him to be able to work. But in order for him to be able to work, I need this green card stuff to go through so that he can get his temporary residency card so that he can work. And I can only do that with mom's help. And my brother's like, all right, you know what? I don't know if she's going to go for it, but I will try to tell her. I'm like, okay, tell her that God led you this way. He's doing that. While this is going on, I am also immigration lawyer, number one, because I'm going through doing all the paperwork, doing all the research and everything. Whereas most people get an immigration immigration lawyer to double check, because what happens is when you file the paperwork and you send it, if you even have one tiny microscopic thing wrong, an ellipses, a comma, they will send it back, and it takes weeks and weeks and weeks after for you to send it back in and for them to recheck it. So you need to make sure that your shit is absolutely perfect. Cross your I's, dot your T's, heart your little hearts, because otherwise it is just a pain in your ass and you are just prolonged in the process. So I was going through like a fine-tooth comb. I was working harder than I ever did in school on this, y'all. All while also trying to find a new place because I have to leave my house now. We're like, okay, well, either way, the place that I was living in, the little bungalow, was pretty small for just 2 people. So we should probably get a bigger place, like a 2-bedroom. We're also doing that. I am working overtime, modeling, immigration lawyering, and real estating. What is Taki's doing? He's on his phone trying to, rub my feet and give me back massages. I mean, the man doesn't cook, so even though he was running restaurants and bars, he doesn't know how to do anything to save his life other than pop a bag of popcorn and make some cereal, if that. So I'm very quickly realizing that I fucked around and now I found out, and I will never make rash decisions like this again. But my impulsivity, yet again, has thwarted me in my efforts. You know what? We are women, we are survivors, and we figure it out. Doing that during the week, Takis and I are looking for a new place. Because of the fact that we need to move like ASAP, it was a little bit hard in a rush that we had to do things. So we end up finding a place in Hollywood that was really, really cute. It was a 2-bedroom, and it was kind of in the Hollywood and Highland area. If you guys know, that's a really congested touristy area. We were trying to stay within a certain budget, and we ended up meeting the girl who is the leasing agent, and she's really sweet to us, and she's just kind of just being a little bit flirtatious, but with the 2 of us. And we're like, is this lady flirting with both of us? And she's talking about her husband, and she's like, yeah, me and my husband, we're really into like alternative lifestyle. And I'm over here thinking like, alternative lifestyle, like punk rock? Like, what is she talking about? And she's probably in her like mid 40s, beautiful. And we're there looking at the place, and her husband ends up walking into the empty showroom, and she's like, oh, this is my husband. And he's like hot and British. And we're like, okay, like this is a very hot couple. They're both like, oh, we'd love for you guys to move in here, And I was like, look, we're in a little bit of a rush, and I know there's probably other people that are waiting for this place, but is there any way that we can get this place in a couple weeks, prorate it? Can you have it ready by then? And she's like, well, it's technically not going to be ready by then, but I can try to push maintenance and management to do it. And they're like, are you guys into alternative lifestyle? Because we are. Y'all, at this point, I am just trying to get a win, and I'm like, yes, punk rock, yes, totally into the alternative lifestyle. And Greek Takis is over there like, yes. And we're like, yeah, we're totally into that lifestyle. And they're like, oh, great, because it'd be great to have some people in the alternative lifestyle scene in the building. And I'm like, yes, whatever I need to tell you guys, like, just get us in. We signed the lease. That same day, my mother calls me, and she's like, okay, you're my only daughter and I love you. I'm going to do this for you, but this man better not F you over, because I'm doing is a big risk. And I'm like, absolutely, you are the best mom on the planet. She is. She's like, I'm only doing this because he's an immigrant, and I know what it was like being an immigrant, and I would have wanted somebody to help me. And I'm like, absolutely, queen. You are just Mother Teresa. You are a gift from the heavens and above. So my mom ends up signing up to be the sponsor. We end up getting a new place. I'm thinking that maybe things are starting to turn around. After filling out like 60 to 100 plus pages of paperwork about my life, Taki's life, his history, my mother's history, the lineage of all my ancestors, we end up sending everything out and getting a interview date for the green card so they can make sure that our marriage is legit, and that we love each other, and that we live together, and that we are sharing a life together. So things are looking up. We're moving into our new place. The day that we move into our new place, we're getting a new couch in, because I basically had to order a new couch that fit in the actual living room because it was like a different configuration. I am tired as shit. I am like, oh my God, we've been moving. It has been a whirlwind of like a few weeks or months, or how long it was at this point. I mean, the timeline just escapes me because life was so crazy. I am like, I need to go take a nap. And Takis was like, great, I'm gonna just be over here laying on the new couch. And so I was like, all right, I don't want to be disturbed, so I'm gonna go in the bedroom. I go in the bedroom, I'm taking a nap. So many things I realized in this relationship happened, and news came to me when I was taking naps, and you'll see why later in the series, but I'm taking a nap. I had my phone next to my head. I wake up to the buzzing next to my brain, right? I'm like, what is that? I look over, I open it up. It's a dick pic. From who? Takis. Where's Takis? In the living room. This man has never sent me a dick pic in his life. And I'm like, why is he sending me this when I'm in the next room? I walk out there and I'm like, hi. And he's sitting on the couch and he's like, oh, how was your nap? And I go, why did you send me this? Now that I think about it, the look on his face was very suspect. He was like, oh, I was just playing a joke on you. I wanted to send you something for when you woke up. That's weird, y'all. And when your instincts tell you that, listen to them. Because my instincts were telling me that this man was not telling me something and this was very strange behavior, but we were newly married. I had just uprooted my entire life around this man. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. He was like, oh, I just wanted to tease you, you know, like while you were sleeping, I just wanted you to wake up to something. I'm like, why didn't you come in here and like pull it out? Like, I feel like that's what most guys would do. But again, she needed a lobotomy or something, because I was like, okay, Takis, whatever you say, Takis, my dear. Obviously, why would you lie to me when I have just completely rerouted my entire life for you? And that was the start to many signs that led to the fact that this was not a good choice on my end. Episode 7, we find out what an alternative lifestyle actually means in this household in my new building. And Takis and I finally go through the interview process. I'm meeting more of his friends. He ends up finally working, and a lot more red flags end up coming up.